Okay, what we're going to cover now is Boolean operators. The comparison operators I've left in here just so that you can see what we've gone over already. I've added in another variable, c, which is equal to 4200 when it gets initialized. And I've got three different Boolean operators. We have the AND operator with two ampersands, the OR operator with two vertical lines, or what are called pipes. You can find those on the key right over your Enter key on your keyboard. You'll see that as a shifted character. And the exclamation point, which stands for not. The way the AND works is if you have a true and a true on either side of the AND operator, that will result in a true value. If there's anything other than a true and a true on either side of the AND, true false or false true or false false, then you're going to get a false value out of it. So let's take a look at that running. And we come over and we'll take a look. A is less than B, which is true. And A is less than or equal to B, and that's true. And a true would equal a true. And then this one would be true, and this just shows that it doesn't matter which sides the trues are on, it's true. This is obviously false because A is not greater than B, so that's a false value. And a true and a false will be false. And then I expanded it out so that you had a true and B is less than C, and A times B should be equal to C, correct? 42 times 100 should be 4200. So let's take a look if that's correct. Oops. That's 4200. This should be true. And this whole thing should then be true. Okay? That's the AND. With the AND, it requires two trues to make a true on either side of the operator. With an OR, all you need is one true on either side of the OR operator to get a true. So if you got a true or a true, it's true. If you have a true or a false, it's true. If you have a false or a true, it's true. But if you have a false or a false, that's when you get a false. So again, we could take a look at all of these. A is less than B, so this whole thing should be true. A is less than B, so that should still be true. I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, stop debugging. There we go. Okay. And again, this one was a true and a true and a true, or a true or a true or a true is a true. This one, however, is A equal to B, that's false. Is A greater than B, that's false. A false or a false will be a false. And then the not operator just changes trues to falses. So this is true. Can't grab it, right? There we go. But notting it would make it a false. So a false or a true, this whole thing should be true. Because that not is operating on this part of the equation. Just like a unary negative sign would work on the value that it is to the left of. And then same thing here. I'm not going to go through that one. This one is nodding the whole thing. So if this is true, or this is true, but that's false. So a true or a false is true. But then nodding it, if I can get it, we'll nod it to a false. The next one is tricky, because what happens is this. A is less than B, so that's true. This is true. So a true or, now the whole thing starts to get a little bit flaky, because right here you have 4200 for C, and B is 100. So you would think that B is less than C, right? But if I select it, it's saying, it should be true. B is less than C. B was 100, C was 4200, and yet it's saying false. And that's because this false right here is actually trying to make the 4200 false. Remember that anything other than 0 is positive. So C, being 4200, is positive. And then when you nod it, it becomes false, which is 0. So B, 100, is not less than 0, than not C. And this is where errors can creep in, where you thought you were doing, not less than, B is less than not C, or your thinking was backwards. It will compile. It'll just not be what you were expecting. So be careful of that. This is still all true because one of the ors are true, and true or anything is true. And then over here, this one is A and B are not equal, so that's false, but nodding that would be true. And then this whole thing, a true or anything is true, but then not the whole thing, and that's false. And this seems rather nonsensical at this point, but when you start thinking of this as your equations for your programs, you'll be doing examples that are pertinent to those examples, and they should work for you.